A story a day.
Everybody waits for this moment, Jalas. A story a day.
So there's this young guy. It's called Mutua.
Okay.
Mutua was one of the closest guys to me and my friend called Peter Gadambo. So in Mwiki was me, Peter Gadambo, he acts in Machachari, and Kevin Ogutu.
Living together.
No, not living together.
Same neighborhood.
Same neighborhood. Boys at the theater living at the in Mwiki. Same neighborhood. And Kevin Ogutu, who is one of the lead actors right now at the Maisha Magic big program called Jella 5.
Jella 5.
Yeah, so it used to be me, Peter Gadambo, and Kevin Ogutu, and Mutua. Mutua was this young man who had taken this job of Mama Mboga. So he was Baba Mboga. He had his stall, and he would give us food all the time. All the time he would give us food. All the time he would give us food.
But
even when we don't have a pay, when we don't have money to pay him.
You get veggies on credit.
Veggies on credit. So when we get money, he would come back. And Mutua is still there. He's still at Kwamade. We used to call it Kwamade because where we used to live was owned by this beautiful old woman who passed on. But the daughters took over. And we lived in a neighborhood heavily inhabited by the Kikuyus, because that bought a lot of land down there. And just next to Mwiki there, actually land that is the first home of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta himself.
Original.
Mzee. He lived in Mwiki. The home is still there. Right behind it is a huge quarry. Huge quarry. Where sometimes when we didn't have food, we actually went fishing.
In the quarry?
In the quarries.
Was it good fish?
It was good fish. Good fish actually was that. The reason why I want to talk to you about this is how we coexisted as friends all this time. Me, Peter Gadambo, was a Kikuyu, and the neighborhood
Baba
was
Mboga.
heavily inhabited by the Kikuyus. And I can remember during the post-election violence, actually they are the ones who are feeding us and giving us food all the time. But the story I want to tell you today is our trips with the train.
From Mwiki?
From Mwiki to town.
The train goes that far?
To Githurai. Actually, the train used to come from Githurai, then Mwiki. From Mwiki, Dandora phase 5, phase 2, phase 3. Then the next stop would be in Mutindwa. From Mutindwa, Makadara. From Makadara, straight to Study. From Study, you get into town.
And how many times a day?
It used to go twice a day. There's an early train. There was 7 o'clock train. Then later in the evening, 5 o'clock
so
train.
7 gets to Nairobi, gets to city what time?
30 minutes.
How much?
30 shillings.
For the whole ride?
For the whole ride. But Jeff, let me tell you one thing. During all this trip, okay, sometimes we didn't have the money. That 30 shillings to pay for the train. So my series today in this week, like I told you, was a few hard times. A few hard times, what we had to go through. Yesterday I told you about the chips place, and when you don't have money, how to used to go. So,
Tonga.
yeah. So the train would hoot from Githurai, and it's my time to get out of the house.
You have to.
Then you would come and stand. The three of us would come, Gadambo, Kevo, we would come and stand by the rail to wait. So at that time, the train is already full, okay? And not full really heavily.
But it's filling up fast.
It's filling up fast.
Yeah.
Very, very fast. And they had already sent a warning, because there's this time there were people who were seated on the roof and they fell off and died. The train ran on them. So it was really hard for you to even be seen on the roof of the train. Okay?
Which is illegal anyway.
It was illegal.
But they do it, yeah.
They're illegal. And it is illegal up to now. Nobody uses. After that warning, it was very hard. Remember, we used to go on top of the train so that we don't pay.
Pay.
That even if the train was not full, we will still want a way to get on top of the train so that we just don't pay. Okay? So, you walk into the train. Now you are inside, but you still don't have the money.
30 shillings.
Okay? So, two things would happen. You either hide in the toilets of the train, okay, or stand between
The cabins.
the cabins,
Yeah, the carriages.
the carriages.
Yeah.
And anytime this guy would come, you tell him that I'm really struggling on how to hold myself in here. I'll give you the money. Yeah, immediately I get the space. I'll be able to
pay you.
to pay you. Okay.
And he knows you don't have the money.
Maybe you would assume that you don't have the money because it's a rush hour, and you also want to make the most money before the train stops and people start alighting. Understand? So what will happen at that time? You'd either hang out of the train at the door, hide in the toilet, or be in the middle of the cabin. But they got our trick of the toilet and our trick of the cabin. The only place that you could always be was to hang out
Outside the train.
outside the train
And it's going at...
at very fast.
Yeah.
So the people will be holding the doors of the train, who are lucky enough to hold the handle at the door, and you will hold onto the body of this guy.
No.
I'm not lying to you.
Stranger.
Yes. He's
He's
holding,
holding
at
on the door and you're holding onto
You're
him.
holding
onto
onto
him.
You're holding onto him.
What if he shakes you off?
He does not want to die either. So he will hold as hard as possible.
Because
So
if one
anytime-
goes down, they both go
all
down.
of us go down.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll hold the door, and anytime the train will stop, all of you will come off the door. When the train starts moving again,
You jump on,
back.
and you're holding
So
on to
that
him.
Yes, hold on to him as he holds the door. That happens up to today.
It's
when
called,
the train
it's
is
called
full.
trust.
It's trust.
Yeah.
You get.
If he lets go,
All of you go down. You don't know the person you're holding.
no.
But you just have to go to town. The other alternative was to play hide and seek with this guy. Okay? So if the train cabin has two doors. So it's taking receipts as they come, getting the money. Then the train stop, you go through the other door.
To come out at the front again.
You come onto the front door. So
Yes.
you'd play hide and seek. Then you'd make sure that you alight at the stadium, the last stop before the train station. Because if you get to the train station without a ticket, you surely go to the train station jail.
They'll put you in jail.
They'll put in the cells immediately. There was no question about that. You understand? Or alternatively, when people are alighting, you'd ask for somebody's receipt. So inside the train, all the time you're asking, nani anashuka, nani anashuka, nani anashuka, nani anashuka. So somebody will tell you, mi nashuka Mtindwa, or Mtindwa. So you'd be there hiding so that you're not seen. Immediately, this guy goes off. You are left with this receipt.
And you're legal.
And now you're legal in the train. And now
God.
you leave the toilet or leave the cabin,
Yeah.
leave wherever, and come and sit back inside the train
For those few minutes.
for those few minutes.
Well, the conductor, could you tell him, look, I seen a dole.
They wouldn't hear any of that.
Yeah.
They will not hear any of that. You'll be thrown out in the next stop. And once they knew that you don't have, you don't have.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. And
So-
you would do this every day.
Every single day. Every
You
single day.
and
Me,
the two cats.
Gadambo,
Yeah.
and Kevin Ogutu, who is a superstar now in this program called Jela 5. Gadambo is one of the top actors in Citizen Machachari. Yes.
And Jalango was just top.
And
HIC.
we'd come through with the train when you have the money. In the evening, we'd pay. It was not our wish that we don't pay,
Right,
or
right.
we wanted to do hide and seek. It's just we didn't have that 30 shillings. So in the evening, if you don't have the 30 shillings, you'd walk to the stadium Stadium is at the
City.
the city stadium.
Jogo Road. Habo.
Jogo Road, Makongeni, right behind, and wait for the train there.
And get it on the way home now.
Get it on the way home.
And it's packed like this.
It's packed.
My
yes.
goodness.
It's got a few hard times, but that made me stronger. That gave me an opportunity to appreciate and learn that, you know what, each and every single day, the person you meet in the streets, you don't know what they're going through. Sometimes they have not eaten. Sometimes they walked all the way to be in town. All they're doing is just a search for the next big break. Here we are, and that is a story a day.
The Hot Breakfast with Jeff and Jelano.